Welcome back. We're here with Talking Tumbleweeds again, continuing to talk about the fourth week in Lent and Lord of the Rings. If you have the chance, like, subscribe, comment, all those things down below. And if we've watched the last video, you know that we finished by saying that all of this comes to a point where we're going to talk about leadership.
Leadership, right.
In particular, because there's a couple of different models of leadership that show up in this section of the text. And how we deal with those leadership events is an interesting thing. At least we thought it was last night.
Yeah, and I think, one of the things that's interesting is our theme this week is servanthood. Mm-hmm. and really servanthood and leadership. I think there's a sense in which in the church we want to say, well, a servant leader, but what does that look like?
Yeah.
You know, how does that model work? Because I think too often our model of leadership is top down, right? You know, you've got leadership here, power and authority flows down, and that's a Sauron model. We talked about that last night.
Yeah,
right?
it's an org chart.
So this is a model of leadership that I think we often think of. It's a warped model of it, right?
Yes.
But you have a leader up here, it's the triangle, right?
Yes.
You have a leader, someone's in charge, and you know the leader makes the decisions, and orders flow down, information flows up, right? So the military is a good example of this. It's a bureaucracy. You know, you don't sit around and negotiate your orders, right?
But it certainly shows up in the civil world as well. It's not just...
Yes. Corporate models have this.
Yeah, and we've brought them up before, but Dan Erlander, Manna and Mercy, shows this as Pharaoh's Egypt.
Yes.
Where Pharaoh is on top and you better do what they say. And Babylon does the same thing, where the king is literally the descendant of the gods and the humans were built to be slaves.
Yes.
This is the Babylonian creation myth. And so obviously he's in charge and you are not. And
right.
He cannot be wrong. And so he represents it over and over again as this pyramid-shaped thing.
It's hierarchical.
Yes.
Right, and this is, and sometimes you can have, less of a hierarchy, but for the most part, leadership is, some people command and other people obey those commands. Right? Whether it's, So we were trying to think about other models of leadership in this.
Because of how distorted this is, that can't be the model that we want as Christians to be following.
Absolutely, and I think even if we're not Christians, we might not, unless we're the leader. But only one of us gets to do that because Sauron does not share power.
Exactly so.
But, but sort of sticking, instead of with the book as a whole, sticking with just the passage that we're looking at, in terms of the fellowship, we've got three models of people as they're trudging, trying to complete their mission, right? Frodo, perhaps the leader, and yet Frodo is sleepwalking.
They call him Master.
Yeah, they call him Master, and yet Frodo is sleepwalking through this whole thing. He's
increasingly less connected with real world.
With real world, he's kind of in this dream state often, and they're always like, Frodo, here, let me carry that. I mean, he's not
leading anything.
He's not really leading anything. He's being led. Mm-hmm. He's being led by Gollum, right? And so perhaps Gollum's the leader, but I think, Gollum is not really leading because I think Gollum lacks the integrity to lead.
He certainly does, and there's no way that he can be a leader. He can direct,
mm-hmm.
he can instruct,
he can show the way,
but he's not leading. He is doing everything with this underhanded motive.
Well, this underhanded motive, Gollum.
Which is not what leadership needs to be.
Yeah, in part because he's not leading them where they think they're going.
Also
right?
true.
Right. So
there's only one way in. It's this way.
It's just. He's right about that, but he's also not really telling them about the risks.
Yes.
So
it can't be Frodo.
Can't be Frodo.
Can't be Gollum.
Can't be Gollum.
So that leaves
Sam. And in some sense, Sam is a tempting alternative, right? Because Sam is carrying everything, right?
He really is.
Yeah.
All the way down to the little box of dirt from Galadriel.
Yeah, he's got everything. He's like burdened down with his pack. He's Sam you can almost hear the pots and pans clanking as he stumbles along. No wonder the Sheila heard him coming from 2 miles away.
Yep. He stays awake while Frodo's asleep.
Yep. And he's protective. He's attentive. He's vigilant. And he comes along. So, but the thing is that Sam serves Frodo.
Yes.
And that, I think, makes him a terrible leader. And I think...
you have this section in here. One of the things he does is when everything goes wrong, he believes Frodo to be dead.
He believes Frodo to be dead.
He decides, well, I'll grab my sword and go die with him.
Well, he doesn't. First he does, and I don't have the long quote in here, but he's sitting there and he's in despair over the fact that Frodo is dead. And then he says, I know what I must do. I can't... We've been entrusted with this, and I wish it wasn't me, but Frodo wished it wasn't him. I can do it. So he has that moment, just like he has a moment when he can rise to Frodo's levels of compassion and mercy and kindness, when he's like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm taking your sword, Frodo. So sorry, sir. And I'm taking the ring. So sorry. And he takes it on, and he goes out, and he is going to trudge to Mordor by himself, and he's going to take that ring and he's going to throw it in. So in that moment, he's not really a leader because he's by himself.
No, but he is acting with the will of the leader.
He is rising to the occasion. He's acting with the will of a leader. He's accomplishing the task which they've been born to do. And then he gets out and there's nothing else he can do. Frodo's dead.
Yes, as far as he thinks.
As far as he thinks. It's not much of a spoiler because it's only a couple pages.
Yeah.
So he slips out, and as he's leaving, a bunch of orcs come towards him, and he puts the ring on real quick, right, so he can be hidden.
Bad response, but
It's what he does. And the orcs are talking, and they're talking about what they're going to do, and he realizes that they have found Frodo's body, and he becomes really disturbed. He says, "What would they do to him? He had heard tales of orcs to make the blood run cold. It could not be borne." He sprang up, he flung the quest and all his decisions away, and his fear and doubt with them. He no longer doubts himself. He's no longer afraid because, oh my God, they're going to get Frodo.
I gotta say Frodo, the master.
He knew now where his place was and what it had always been, at his master's side. Though what he could do there was not clear, back he ran down the steps, down the path towards Frodo. How many are there, he thought? 30 or 40 from the tower at least. And a lot more than that from down below, I guess. But how many can I kill before they get me? And he's like going over to his, I can't help it. My place is by Mr. Frodo. They must understand that. Elrond and the council and the great lords and ladies with all their wisdom, their plans have gone wrong. I can't be their ring bearer, not without Mr. Frodo. And I mean, the interesting thing to me, and at one point he's like, maybe they'll sing songs about how many people, they won't sing songs because there'll be no one left to sing. And that thought doesn't make him turn around.
No,
right?
Not even a little bit.
And to me, when I'm reading this, it's like, he thinks Frodo is dead. So in order to go protect Frodo's dead body,
from its desecration by the orcs.
From its desecration by the orcs. It's like, so sorry, universe.
You're not as important as that I go die with my master.
Yes, I died with my master. Won't be anybody singing the songs, but I mean, this is how fully and completely Sam is loyal to Frodo. And oh my God, is he a crappy leader or what?
So we can't take Sam as a leader.
We know why Sam didn't get the ring. If there is an intelligence behind all of this, even if it's just Tolkien, we know.
Sam is not the ring bearer.
Sam is not the ring bearer.
He can be a ring bearer for a few pages, but he is not the ring bearer.
And then just later, probably even on the same page, he realizes that Frodo's not dead. And he's like, "Oh, you feel he isn't dead, and your heart knew it. Don't trust your head." It's like
it's the worst part of you.
Yeah, it's your worst part of you. And so there's this sense in which as a leader, Sam is all heart and no head. And he doesn't think that his head is worth it. So I suppose in some sense, but and you can sort of flip it around, right? Sauron is all head and no heart.
Yes.
Right? And most crappy leaders are, right? Sam is all heart and no head,
which
many crappy leaders are, right? So you have these models, right? So Sam is an amazing servant. He's a terrible leader.
Always has been.
He's a terrible leader. So
Frodo could have been a good leader. He is incapacitated.
He's incapacitated by the burden of the ring because Frodo has head and heart.
Yes. Gollum has an awful lot of head and has a very corrupted heart.
Yes.
And so he's not going to be a functional leader.
And Sauron the same, right? Because all of Sauron's maliciousness is in the ring and it has taken over Gollum.
And so Sam also can't be the leader then. So in this group of three now,
yes,
they are leaderless and bereft, wandering adrift on the sea.
Or are they? Right? And I think it's the fellowship in general. And we talked about this. We talked about this last week in terms of the fellowship. That the fellowship doesn't really break up when it breaks up, right? Yeah. After Boromir, that
it changes shape, but it remains.
It remains in part because the fellowship is not based on sort of like a leadership structure. It's based on relationship that people share with one another, but it remains a fellowship and not just friends, right? Not just because they have a goal. And I think that's the thing that they continue to have. And so one of the things that I've really appreciated in our discussion and the focus on fellowship is that this focus on fellowship really invites us to think about leaders differently, right?
Yes.
Fellowship is perhaps leaderless, and I think in part because they are led by the goal,
yeah,
right? But it's because their devotion is to one another. The fellowship is this mutual commitment,
yeah,
right? That yes, I will take the ring, I will go with them, right? So the fellowship is created by this mutual commitment, this shared promise to achieve a goal.
I can make this choice because this is about us, not about what I need.
Yes.
In this moment, this choice is not about me, it's about me.
Yes. So on the one hand, I mean, I was thinking about this a lot, that the term servant leadership seems to be an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Right? That you can't be a servant and a leader at the same time. But I think if I was to change the term to covenant leadership, right? Covenant leadership in which we all commit to one another. And of course, covenant is so important in the UCC.
Absolutely. It's important enough to us that's our name.
Yeah. That thing.
That thing.
That the covenant is the promise that God makes to us.
Yes.
But in a congregational church, the covenant is also the promise that we make to one another.
Absolutely.
Right? And that Christ is part of that promise. But when I had my ordination, right, it was a covenanting service.
Yes.
It wasn't a power coming down from below although I did have the Episcopalians there just in case.
Cover your bases.
Just in case. But it was a power from below, not coming
Yes.
down. It was a power from below.
And that was very, very clear within the service itself.
Yes, yes.
That this is not about the church body says okay. This is about the local church says yes.
Yeah, so I mean, just sort of think of this covenant leadership. So maybe, replacing this term covenant, and so I have some actual scripture here. And what the heck, Paul? You were called to freedom, brothers and sisters, right? There's Paul with that freedom. Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for self-indulgence. Don't do it for yourself, right? Through love, become enslaved to one another. That's servanthood, right? That covenant. Through love, right? Covenant yourself with one another. That enslavement and the covenant. I think you can use that same language in there.
And so our commitment to each other needs to be so firm and total that we can't just say, okay, I'm done with this for now.
In Philippians, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, rather in humility value others above yourselves. But I think that what really captures what you just said about that sort of that commitment, that enslavement. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins, right? And this is Frodo towards Gollum, right?
Yeah.
I can love you even though of who you are, right? Offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Gollum grumbles a lot. Anyway, so you have this. You have in the fellowship, I think this different model of leadership, which again really resonates to me because of sort of the congregational setting that I'm in,
Yeah.
where the leadership isn't top down, right? The leadership is this way. So it starts this way.
It's not just the triangle has a different focus.
Yes.
It's a whole different shape. And
It's a whole different shape. It's a web. It's a web of relationships. It's a web of commitments here, which then moves in this direction. But then sometimes, all these people can move in different directions because this Eye of Sauron can only look at one direction at a time, and that's why the orcs know something's going on, and Sauron can't see it, right?
Yeah.
And he can't see it because he can only look at one thing at a time.
And he's gotten distracted intentionally.
Intentionally.
Spoiler,
right? Next week.
Next week. But this is on purpose to give them this opportunity to do what
Give
they
this
need to do.
opportunity.
And because they split up, and we keep calling it the breaking of the fellowship because that's what Tolkien called it.
But
But this is not a breaking. This is to spread out so that they can have better
This is a
opportunity to
diffusing.
achieve what they're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the fellowship doesn't break up, it expands, it creates these new alliances, it creates these, these partnerships.
New covenants.
Yeah, new covenants. And that's the strength of covenant, right? This power structure, the triangle, yeah, it spreads down here, but by the time you get down here,
There's no power.
it's a bureaucracy, right? And the thing about bureaucracy is, right, a bureaucracy splits the decision maker from the actor. And this is why, hey, it's not my responsibility. I'm just doing what I'm told.
Just following
right?
orders.
I'm just following orders because it's a lack of agency,
Yes.
right? And it's lack of agency because I don't make the decisions. I just follow orders. Fellowship is something different, right? Fellowship is something where I own my actions, right?
I choose my own actions, but I choose them out of something that is greater than just I
Yes.
want, I need, I want
Yes.
my precious.
Yes, we want our precious.
Well, and there's a point to that though, right? What do we choose as
They're
a covenanted group together?
diffusing the weight.
As a covenant group together, what do we choose as our precious, our
Our
goal,
yes,
our purpose?
yes.
And in this case, it happens to be the destruction of the precious. But I think that within the church, we can say, if we have a goal, if we have a vision, if we have some sort of mission, this is what we're here to do, then we can get together and do that in this diffuse manner. And if we don't have one of those, we're just going to...
And I think this is where, thinking about the diffuseness of the fellowship of Christ, right? There are many different churches.
Absolutely.
And it saddens me sometimes that a lot of the churches think, well, ours is the only fellowship, right? And instead of, okay, we're over here doing this, and you're over here doing this, and you're over here doing this, and all of this is necessary in order for the goal, right? And the goal is, the kingdom, the goal is, making the world that God has intended from the beginning to be part of creation.
It is that redemption that Gollum never got.
Yes.
It is the redemption of the world. And that, as long as we have that goal, then we can work together towards it. And it doesn't matter that we do things differently.
Or sing songs
And in
differently.
fact, not only does it not matter, it's a strength that we do things differently.
It's slapping the hand away. I mean, that actually just feels like a good place to stop for this week. So join us again next week. Join us on Monday nights if you're in town. Join us on Wednesday nights if you're in town for fellowship.
Check the website for the schedule.